Grab some pretty leaves, acrylic paint, and your jelly plate because we're going to be painting botanical art today. Welcome to the I Love to Paint channel. This is your artsy friend Martha. This is a collaboration for Second Saturday Art. Check the description box below for the next artist. Ever seen those dreamy, swirly layer art prints that look impossibly cool and you thought, whoa, I could never do that? Jelly printing is easy and addictive. You can do it. I'm working with leaves today, so what you have to do is pick wisely. Go for flatter, thinner leaves like maple, birch, ginkgo, ferns. Any delicate flower petals are great. Avoid super thick and waxy or deeply crinkled leaves like magnolia or some hollies. Save yourself the headache. They often don't make great contact. Let's talk a little bit about how it works and the super simple supplies you need to get started. So, how does this jelly magic actually work? Squeeze some paint onto the plate and swipe, swipe, swipe. You can mix, you can have only one color, you can have several colors. Just play. This is where the fun begins. Place your leaves. You can place extra texture on top like stencils, lace, or drawings with whatever other tool that you might have. You can drag tools through it to make lines, or you can leave it just flat. I prefer it flat for this time. Layer different colors. There are no rules. You can just do whatever you want before you put the paper. Give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it and share it with an artsy friend. It's an easy and free way to help us so we can keep creating more videos for you. When gel printing, embrace imperfection. Did you get smudges or blended edges? That's the organic charm. Don't strive for photorealism. It's just about the feeling and texture. This is seriously one of the most joyful, forgiving, and surprisingly easy art techniques out there. Think about it as magical mud pies for grown-ups, but way prettier. After you press gently your piece of paper or fabric, flatten it to the painted plate. Press down gently with your hands or a baren. Give it a chance to be completely flattened on the plate slowly. And sometimes you have to wait a little bit if you left a little too much paint. And then once you feel that is ready, check on a corner and slowly peel up the paper. The paint will only stick to the paper where it was in contact with the plate. The rest will stay neatly on the plate for your next print. So you have extra layers already on the plate. The first time you peel it, you will be so delighted. It's pure joy. I have a different type of leaves from my yard. Some are better than others. Some are a little too dry, but I'm going to test them all. I don't care if it gets messy or if it has some unexpected little wrinkles. Usually the best paper is the printer paper, but I'm using deli paper for this printing and also some pre-printed jelly prints. It presented a little bit of a problem because the painted paper will not absorb as much paint or as faster as a blank paper. You don't need any fancy paper to start. If you prefer to test other type of paper, I recommend don't use something that is like watercolor paper or too thick paper because that is more complicated for a beginner. I personally don't even like it, but The deli paper and regular printing paper is incredibly forgiving. Once you get used to it, of the printing and pulling and how much paint and everything, you can get very creative. You can try recycled paper, old book paper pages, maps, sheet music, tissue paper, but that's very delicate. You can use pretty much cardstock or any type of paper, really. Try and see if you like it, if it works for you. It's just a lot of fun. One type of paper that you should avoid is the super shiny photo paper because the paint doesn't stick to it so well. So you're going to get frustrated when it keeps sliding off or making little beads. That's not fun. But for the most part, you can just try anything that you want. What type of paint should you use for jelly printing? Acrylics is the best. You can try also water mixable oils or watercolor. You can try many different types of markers, but for me, the best is acrylics. If you're really just beginning, don't bother with the expensive brands. Yes, they are translucent, they are very light to use and everything, but they are very expensive. And if you're going to be making a lot of messes and fails because you're just learning, like all of us once when we started to learn, for me, the craft paint is perfect. It's not as transparent, but you can use a medium, make them transparent if that's what you like. Otherwise, matte is perfect. I love it. I always recommend to start with the cheaper brands, not the cheapest, but a cheap brand that can allow you to feel that you can try. You're not going to be wasting tons of money, and you can save your money for later once you know what you're doing exactly how you like it, and you can have the best of both worlds. One of the tips that I recommend is to wait for the paint to dry and then you apply the next layer, because sometimes if you mix two colors that are warm and cool, all you're going to do is make a muddy mess. But if you put a crisp layer, then your templates, your leaves, whatever you want, and then wait for it to dry, and then adding the other layer or a different pool, you will have very crisp colors and a beautiful print. If you pour too much paint and you're rolling a very juicy layer, try to clean it up with the brayer, smear the paint somewhere else, like in another paper or in a sketchbook page, so you start building another page. And the point is to have a thin layer of paint so your leaves or any other thing that you have on the plate are not going to be sliding around. For those asking what type of plate you should get, I recommend to spend any money on the plate. A good plate makes a difference. If you buy one of the cheapest online, I'm not going to say the site, but starts with a T, I do not recommend that. They need their particular type of inks and it's not good and it dries, and all I can hear is complaints. And so I rather just wait for a good sale, get your jelly plate or the other brand that is also gel plate instead of a super cheap one that is a different material, and you're just going to be very upset and frustrated because the paint doesn't hold well in those other ones. So if you're going to spend some money, spend it on the plate. And talking about spending money, I recommend get an old t-shirt on or an apron because this can get really messy. When mixing a lighter and a darker color together in the same layer, do the lighter color first and roll it all the way down and then start rolling the darker one separately, because if you roll the two together, the darker color is going to pretty much remove the lighter one. So either start with a different brayer or roll the lighter color first all the way to the bottom and then add the darker one. You will see what I'm talking about in this layer. That way it will be easier to keep the two colors together. Don't worry too much if you have a little peel in your print. You can use delicately a brush to use the same colors if possible. Otherwise, you can just add more of the iridescent paint. Look at how gorgeous the iridescent paint looks. I am very happy with this. I hope you go and grab some, collect some leaves, and play with your jelly plate. Have a lot of fun making botanical prints. And keep your brayer rolling.